Hey, this is Matt, and this is a review I'm pretty excited about. It's the 5th full-length album from the 31-year-old bassist Esperanza Spalding called Emily's D+Evolution. As a bassist myself, I was really interested in following Esperanza since her beginnings on the albums Junjo in 2006, and then her self-titled Esperanza, I think that was in 2008. Not only is this woman a virtuoso of jazz on the bass, but she has this velvety voice that she can do, both of these at the same time in performance, and I think that's why she's definitely earned the genius title. She's not only super stylish in appearance, but she plays with such passion and expression. Her albums have taken the core of smooth jazz and fused it with African rhythms, soul, funk, but also a tremendous pop sensibility that was really showcased on songs like I Know You Know, Fall In, and Precious. She's also one of the youngest professors at Berklee School of Music, and she's probably best known for her moment in the spotlight in 2011 when she won a Grammy for New Artist of the Year. And the funny thing about this is she kind of almost stole that award or took it out from under the extremely popular Justin Bieber, the infamous Justin Bieber, which is probably when she solidified herself as one of my favorite artists. That is truly one of the best Grammy underdog stories. I was pretty psyched when that happened, but apparently some young teen girls were so upset about it that they tried some, futile attempts at defamation, including vandalizing her public Wikipedia page. Esperanza's last album in 2012, called Radio Music Society, honored her jazz roots and really maintained that delicate and tender and almost innocent quality, but it also introduced some more controversial and thought-provoking lyrics. On Emily's D+Evolution, she absolutely rips the cover off this nice, comfortable, and warm sheen in favor of something much edgier and artistically ambitious. Gone is that acoustic double bass and any vocal scatting. These songs are much more comparable actually to prog rock and jazz fusion sounds of the 70s, with this angular, distorted electric guitar playing a much bigger role. It all starts with a bang on Good Lava, where the conceptual element of this album is introduced. If you're curious, the name Emily is actually Esperanza's middle name, and it's this sort of alter ego that drives the emotions and the lyrics and just the feel of this album overall. And really this has apparently freed Esperanza from her artistic containment. The instrumentals sound like something that Chick Corea's Return to Forever would have done, filled with atonality but also yielding to a soulful and ostentatious melody. Unconditional Love is the real soapbox moment here on the album. Again, it's all centered around this melodic hook, and this is probably the most memorable and accessible of them all. It's a great ballad. And going forward, Judas is probably the biggest instrumental triumph here. It's really proving that Spalding can write these just incredibly complex progressions with time changes just all over the place, yet still deliver a gorgeous and captivating melody. The 4th track, Earth to Heaven, is a deceptively dark groove and something straight out of the Steely Dan playbook. This has got one of my favorite vocal melodies on this thing, sung very much in the style of Donald Fagen, sounding pretty much like something straight off of the album Asia. Emily decides to stick with this biblical imagery and kind of giving some esoteric ideas as to how the natural world relates to the spiritual world. My interpretation of this song, at least, is that she's sort of reveling in the natural spirituality of existence, and then also drawing comparisons between the more typical religious spiritual and more mundane and meaningless aspects of life. But that's really just my perception, and really this doesn't come off as preachy or agenda pushing. I've seen some criticism online of this as pseudo-intellectualism, but I couldn't agree less. I think if anything, we have this inclination to question any woman that speaks with conviction or gumption. The next song, One, is a fascinating composition juxtaposing soft jazzy verses with hard-hitting choruses. There are almost these kamasis, the epic-esque choral backings during these choruses as Esperanza kind of screams almost in this high pitch. I seem to be doing just a track-by-track review here. But for good reason. I think each of these songs is really so memorable and notable. So to continue this trend, the next song, Rest in Pleasure, has these really lovely and nimble vocal runs during the verses, and it all leads up to this big kind of post-rockish climax with very explosions in the sky-esque guitar tones. These silky guitar tones run into the next track, which is Ebony Ivy, and probably my favorite on the album. This is a blissful art rock tune bookended by these furious spoken word harmonies. I think it summarizes the album pretty well, not only in its diversity, but in the way that it matches these pop hooks over more dissonant instrumentals. From this point on, the album doesn't really slow down either. It's got some of its most interesting funk and Genesis-like prog and ambience on the second half. The only underwhelming track for me, believe it or not, is the closer, which is a cover, actually, of Veruca Salt's I Want It Now from Willy Wonka. Emily's D+Evolution overall, hands down, my favorite release of 2016 so far. I think the interesting just genre blend along with just the melodic execution is just wonderful. This is no doubt just a huge artistic statement from Esperanza, Emily Spalding, and perhaps a career-defining moment. Similar to me in the time that when the Beatles moved into their more headier and studio-focused writing. Alright, so, huge score here. 9 out of 10. That's right, that's right. For Emily's D+Evolution by Esperanza Spalding. I want to know what you think of it, so please comment below, like, and check out the description box for a lot of goodies. And please subscribe to my channel. That's all I can ask. Peace.